When it comes to Bojack Horseman, many things can be opened and split and looked at in many different ways. It's almost as if there's lots of layers here to look at, which there are. So, yes, I will be doing my usual episode deep dives like I did in the past, although sadly one of them had to be canceled because the recording got ruined. But while I was going through this and thinking about what episode to tackle next in this retrospective, I realized, wait a minute, what about character study? So I'm going to try a new experiment with you guys today. Today I'm going to do a big, deep dive character study in this series. But who to start with? And I decided, you know what? Let's start off with a main character, an important character of the series, and simply start off with one of the mains themselves, Diane. So today, we are doing a deep dive. Today is, what did Diane Nguyen bring to the table in Bojack Horseman? What importance was she to the story? What was Diane in Bojack Horseman?
That's the thing. I don't think I believe in deep down. I kind of think all you are is just the things that you do.
When the series first starts, Diane was a very simplistic character at first. To be honest, when she was first added to the series, she was no more than just an avatar for the viewer. Just an open perspective from a person that we could put ourselves in the shoes of, for us to see this person, Bojack, for all to behold. She was more of a blank slate, somebody for us to dive into and witness this catastrophe of a person break before us as she is signed on as his ghostwriter. She has ghostwritten for many people before and is first just the simple ghostwriter. A person, although they show throughout the first season, has problems of her own due to the fact of her entire career is mostly based in the shadow of other people. We find out later throughout the season that her whole career has just been ghostwriting for people more popular than her. The fact that she spent most of her life just underneath other people who just use her artistic writing to get ahead. And even the only reason why she's even in Hollywood to begin with, living-wise I mean, and the only reason why she's allowed to have such luxuries and even live in a nice place to begin with is due to her husband, famous actor, Mr. Peanut Butter. So season 1 is very simple with her. She's a blank slate that mostly just derives as more of just a love interest or a get-the-girl story plot, which in Bojack's usual fashion is used for no more than a joke. We don't have any actual love plot with Diane that actually succeeds or matters, and it ends up just turning into one big-ass joke where Bojack steals the Hollywood D just as a weird play in his drunken state to impress Diane just due to how much he hates Mr. Peanut Butter. But also in some moments seeing that Diane actually can relate to him. There's brief moments when they talk or they hang out on the balcony or the usual, where she actually could relate to certain ways he views life. We get little hints here and there that her life isn't as perfect either, and then finally get a whole episode showing her family when she has to go home for something, and Bojack goes with her, the funny kaleidoscope scene that I love. And then Diane gets more of an explanation on her reasoning. But, to be fair, she's no more that better off than Bojack is. We get to see from this episode that Diane is mostly just, she came from a home that's just very, very, very down and out. And by that I mean they're just very rednecky in a sense. They don't have creative views like she does, they don't strive for anything better like she wants to do, and have done no more than live their life as simplistic as possible. Diane's reasoning for her divide and the reason why she has this back and forth with her family is mostly due to the fact that they simply just cannot understand her. They can't understand her and they don't care to. We see throughout the episode that they genuinely don't, and even make fun of her whenever she tries to bring up some work she's done in Hollywood, literally seeing her as just, so you think you're better than us, you Hollywood star. Even though all she wants is a genuine connection. We get a few threads here and there and a big opening revealing to us more on her, but for the most part, where we get to use her to view Bojack for what he is. And we get an actual honest opinion from a person who's not used to this lifestyle in Hollywood and the abuse and stuff, and is just mostly trying to come in with open eyes. That season even wraps up with a beautiful note of Bojack from the attachment he has had with her over time of her understanding, genuinely getting mad about her book, trying to fire her for her just being honest and writing the truth of his life story, and then Bojack desperately trying his hardest to get her to tell him he's a good person, to tell him that he has some sort of thread. But as we find out later with Diane, that's not how she works.
And it's messy. And at first glance, it doesn't seem to make any sense. And it's hard to figure out. But sometimes, if you squint at it just right, everything lines up and it's the most perfect, beautiful, amazing thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I'm so tired of squinting.
Diane, as it shows as the series goes on, doesn't really understand herself, the world, or what she knows about her own self. We get thrown here and there showing that she's mostly just an open book, trying to do her best to do the right thing, but in the end of the day, without lack of understanding, she can't do much. She keeps trying to find ways to help Bojack, which, it's kind of pointless, which she finds out later on. She keeps trying to force changes on him, even though each change she tries to form ends up making him find ways to get new vices to dig his hole deeper. And then when there are chances where she could try to help him, it ends up backfiring in a way where she keeps getting reminded you should probably just focus on yourself. She doesn't focus on herself, and we see throughout her marriage and her life with Mr. Peanut Butter that even with her marriage with Mr. Peanut Butter, it's more of just a spur-in-the-moment kind of thing. She's just there. They didn't really date that much. They didn't really grow up with each other. They didn't really have much of a connection. It's just, he's famous, he's pretty funny and a sweet guy, and that's really it. We see later on in the series that her marriage just comes apart due to the fact of, she doesn't even know why she's there. She even herself admits that most of her decisions she just doesn't get. Everything she's done has been more of a spur of the moment, just what felt right at the time or what probably was the best outcome for me. They weren't truly real emotions. If we're being honest, her actual love that would have been okay with her for a while would have been Bojack. Yes, he's toxic on all those problems, but they actually understood each other at least. Even when Bojack allowed her to stay at his house so she could run away from her problems and lie to Mr. Peanut Butter, they show that in that time she spent with him, she felt way more comfortable and connected with him than she ever has. Even at one point, almost even trying to sleep with him at a drunken state. Although Bojack, doing the surprise move, actually refusing this and denying, because we find out through Bojack that he actually cares about her. Whether we see it or not, even this moment of him just refusing to and just letting her rest because he sees her state is something he wouldn't do with any other woman he's come across in his life before, though. This goes to show you that he genuinely does care about Diane. She's not just some girl to him like he's had growing up throughout his life. He sees her as a genuine person and a connection he could hold on to. Basically, like a comfort blanket, but without any of the benefits, because he doesn't want to shatter this one person he sees as an undirtied lifeline. He sees her as a genuine, pure person, and for him, it has to be something genuine or real. So the next few seasons ends up doing that whole arc of Diane finally, for a change, wanting to find out who she is. She tries to get this marriage thing with Mr. Peanut Butter to work, to find out that over time, her and Mr. Peanut Butter genuinely have nothing in common. She outright gets mad when he tries to do nice things for her because, his nice thing is so over the top, and she's such a simplistic person, more involved with emotion, that she doesn't like it. Which leads us to the final arc of Diane.
I don't write my book of essays now. I never will.
So, don't write your book of essays.
I have to.
Why?
Because if I don't, that means that all the damage I got isn't good damage. It's just damage. I have gotten nothing out of it, and all those years I was miserable was for nothing.
The last stretch of the series sees us seeing Diane go through one thing she's never done in the series until this point. Look at herself. Throughout the series, she's mostly kept herself at other people, making herself just part of Bojack's life and having to know everything about him and having to understand him. Then making herself just about Mr. Peanut Butter and trying to make that marriage work. And then just trying to throw herself whatever dramas are happening in Hollywood that she could try to help with. But the last stretch of the show has her finally try something new, focus on herself. She finally leaves Mr. Peanut Butter, finally starts having a moment with herself. I mean, the best episode ever with this segment of her life is the episode when she goes to Japan and she basically does her own version of Lost in Translation. That is genuinely the best part that gives us the biggest deep dive on her. What she truly wants in life, what she misses at times, what she doesn't understand. Then the series ends on a note where she finally comes to a conclusion of what life is and what she is about. She wants to feel like everything she's went through has mattered. The neglect from her parents was building towards a big, beautiful outcome for others to learn from. That her writing skills she's been picking up is not just for money or for merchandise or for a job. It's actually to change lives and try to add a piece of herself in this world that will last forever. And basically try to give herself a false security of everything I went through mattered. The abuse was for good reasons. The abuse meant something. A tragic thought that many of us have had in our lives. We better ourselves and try to work hard and try to become something in this life because we want to tell ourselves some sort of story that what we went through was for a reason. We didn't go through this abuse for no reason. The world's not that cruel, right? There's no way we grew up abused, neglected, and tossed around like a joke. There's no way the world would do that to us, right? And that's exactly what Diane goes through at the end of the series. She has to finally accept the fact that, sadly, that's not how life works. Life is random. Life is meaningless. Life is just a fun stretch where you decide what you want to be depending on what happens. It's not a book written for us. It's not a destiny given to us. It is not some big grand plan that somebody made for us. It is your own destiny. And the final stretch of the series is Diane herself finally getting to tackle her own destiny for a change. She's not writing some sort of big book to prove a point. She's not helping some big celebrity. She's not going to some great cause happening out in the world. She is genuinely going to try something big and hard that many of us have trouble trying to do. Be happy. Live a life that finally makes you content with yourself. And it works. In her antidepressant mind, when she starts taking antidepressants, she just writes some fun, cute adventure book based on detective girls in a mall, based on what she sees at the mall. Yeah, it's cute, it's simple, it means nothing, it's more just entertainment for children, but it works. With even Princess Carolyn letting her know that, hell, this also means something. I'd be more than happy to live in a world where books like this were there to comfort my children. And yeah, she has a point. She ends up finding out at the end of the day, all she had to do was just believe in herself and stop fretting over everything in this world. Sometimes things are simplistic, sometimes things just don't have an answer, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even though the world is mostly answerless and doesn't have much explanation, we don't need to be afraid of it. Sometimes there's passion within nothing. Sometimes there's beauty within simplicity. Sometimes there is comfort in knowing that you don't have to try so hard. You can just exist, be with those you love, form connections, and be okay with the little small space you have. Sometimes there is something, even in nothingness. And this is something Diane finds out at the end when she finally gets together with a guy, has an actual relationship with an actual caring person that she can genuinely bond with and connect with and grow. Finally just has fun writing silly book adventures instead of trying to be so deep and profound with each book. And finally just leaves, gets her own place, lives her own life. Diane Nguyen is a very interesting character. There's depth to her and there's things. I mean, hell, from the stuff you can hear from this video, there's even all sorts of theories and ideas you could throw in along with this. Now, this is just what I had to say about her character and what I think she was meant to blossom into and be. Don't think that this is the definitive opinion. I would love to hear your opinion in the comments below yourself. If you guys want to let me know your thoughts on this character, even your favorite moments, maybe a fun little top 5 best moments of Diane and Gwen in the comments, or let me know what you think of my opinion. Everything is open for interpretation. Everything is open for discussion. That's one of the beauties of life. We can bond and communicate and discuss over even the simplest of things. You're not alone. Sometimes a brief little show, or a simple little game, or something that comes out once in a blue moon that's this beautiful can cause connection even in those that feel like they don't have any. But with that all said, those are my thoughts on a deep dive on Diane and Gwen from Bojack Horseman. Like I said before, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What are your views on her, favorite moments of hers, and give me your own little deep dives in the comments. I genuinely love reading these things. I love reading other people's different points of views and diving into other ways of viewing these characters and viewing this world of Bojack Horseman. And also, please comment below what character from Bojack Horseman I should tackle next. What character should I tackle next? What episode should I do my next Bojack video on? Or is there any other shows or other topics you'd like me to talk about too? And also, don't forget, link in the description for everything else. Bye, guys.